Ko Elisa, Ko Wilton, Kong Hun, Ko, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lagbas, Lagdameo Jose Manuel, Lagdameo Monique Yasmin Maria, Lagman,
Mr. Speaker, my vote is yes, and I wish to explain my vote later.
Lagon Daphne, Lagon Sonny, Lara, Lasatin, Ledesma, Legacion, Legarda, Legaspi, Leviste, Libanan, Lopez, Loria, Loyola, Luistro, Lumayag, Makapagal Arroyo, Makasaet, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manguda Datu, Manikis, Maranyon, Marcoleta, Marcos,
Mr. Speaker, Sagip Party List votes no, and I reserve the right to explain my vote later after nominal voting. Thank you.
Marquez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla,
Mr. Speaker, my vote is no.
Miraflores, Momo, Montes, Nava, Nazal, Nisay, Nolasco,
Mr. Speaker, this representation from Bagong Henerasyon Party List votes no, and I would like the chance to explain my vote later.
Nolasco, Owaminal Henry, Owaminal Sancho Fernando, Oducado, Olivares, Ongchuan, Ordanes, Oreta, Ortega, Uwano Dizon, Padiernos, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Perez, Pimentel, Plaza, Plato, Poe, Primicias Agabas, Pumaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Recto, Rehencia, Remulla, Revilla Brian, Revilla Ramon Jolo, Ridon, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez Yuloyo, Rodriguez Maximo, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman,
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes and I wish to explain my vote later.
Romualdez Andrew Julian, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Yeda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sagar Baria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sally, Salvacion, Salvador, Salvame, San Fernando,
Mr. Speaker, this representation votes yes, but with strong reservations, and I would like to explain my vote after the nominal voting.
Santos Maria Alana Samantha, Santos Mark Anthony,
Mr. Speaker, this representation from the Lone District of Las Piñas votes yes. Thank you.
Shimura, Singson
Mr.
Richelle,
Speaker, my vote is no.
Singson Richelle, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Soriano, Suwan, Swansing Bella Vanessa, Swansing Micaela Angela, Suarez, Suntay,
Mr. Speaker, I vote no, and I will explain my vote.
Talyado, Tan Ayman, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Mika, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Chay, Tan Watko, Tariela, Teodoro, Tereng, Tevez, Tiangco, Tieng,
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I vote yes, and I will explain my vote later.
Tieng, Tino,
Mr. Speaker, yes ang boto ko and I will explain later.
Tolentino, Tuan, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutor,
Mr. Speaker, ang bagang tingog sa katauhan sa Tercero Distrito is no, and I'll explain my vote. Thank you.
T, Umali, Ungab,
I am voting no, and I'll explain my vote later.
Uy De Carlo, Uy Roberto, Valeriano, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Veloso, Veloso Tuazon,
Mr. Speaker, Malasakit at Bayanihan Party List votes no. I reserve the right to submit a written explanation later.
Vergara, Villa, Villafuerte Miguel Luis, Villafuerte Vincenzo Renato Luigi, Villanueva, Villarica, Violago,
Mr. Speaker, the third district of Nueva Ecija votes no, and I reserve my explanation later.
Violago, Yamsuan, Yap Arthur, Yap Christopherson, Yap Eric, Yap Jan Gisnel, Yatko, Inares, Yu Jazel Victoria, Yu Joseph Kim, Yulo, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria, Zubiri.
Mr. Speaker, I respectfully abstain and I will explain my vote later.
Second call, adoption of committee report number 261. Alano, Alba, Almario Chino Miguel, Ayon, Baskug, Bautista Claude, Bautista Lim, Chan Jan Franz Norbert Joselito, Cua, De Los Santos, Garbin, Garcia Jose Arturo, Hernandez Dennis, Lacson, Macapagal Arroyo, Nisay, Oreta, Perez, Plaza, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Tan Samir, Tanwatco, Uy De Carlo, Villanueva, Yap Arthur C., Yap Christopherson, Inares.
Muli po ang aking pagpapaalala sa lahat ng pagpapanatili ng kaayusan at paggalang sa proseso na ating kapulungan sa pagpapatuloy ng sesyon ng plenaryo. Sa pag-anunsyo ng resulta ng desisyon ng miyembro ng House of Representatives, mahigpit pong ipinagbabawal ang anumang pagpapakita ng pagsasang-ayon o pagtutol tulad ng pagpalakpak, pagsigaw, pagpapakita ng mga placard o anumang kahalintulad na kilos sa loob ng bulwagan at sa galeriya. Hinihiling po natin ang pakikiisa ng lahat upang mapanatili ang dignidad at wastong decorum sa kapulungan at sa lahat ng oras. With 255 members voting in the affirmative, 26 against, 9 abstention, House Resolution number 989, together with the findings, conclusion, recommendations contained in Committee Report number 261 are hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Representative Bienvenido M. Abante Jr. of the 6th District of Manila to explain his vote.
Representative Abante, 6th District, Manila, is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Majority Leader. And thank you, my dear Speaker. Psalms 11:3 says, "If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do?" Today, the whole of Congress has spoken. This was the statement of one of the most powerful kings Israel ever had, King David. But first of all, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I would like first to commend the chairman of the Committee on Justice for shepherding with boldness and fairness these impeachment hearings. As we move closer to the impeachment trial, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, this is no longer just about politics. This is about conscience, duty, and the future of our nation. Uulitin ko po, this is not about 2028. This is not about political alliances. This is about whether we still believe that no one is above the law. And I believe this with all my heart, and so do many of my colleagues in this chamber. Our vote today is not a declaration of guilt. It is a declaration that when serious allegations are raised against one of the highest officials of the land, Congress cannot look away. Congress cannot remain silent. Congress must act according to the Constitution and according to conscience. An impeachment ay hindi dapat gawing laro ng politika. This is a constitutional process with consequences not just for today, but for generations to come. The Filipino people deserve a trial that is fair, impartial, and rooted in the rule of law. And now, as the responsibility shifts to the Senate, which will sit as an impeachment court, I ask our countrymen to pray for our senator judges. Pray not for one side or another to win politically, but for truth to prevail. Pray that our senator judges be guided by wisdom, fairness, and integrity. Let us pray that they be swayed by their conscience and guided by the evidence before them, rather than by political pressure from various camps. As it is written in James 5:16, and I quote, "Confess your faults one to another, and pray for one another, that ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much." End of quote. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I am fully aware that history will judge the decisions we make today. Years from now, my grandchildren will look back at this chapter in our nation's history and ask how their lolo voted when the country was confronted with different questions about truth, accountability, and justice. I want them to know that their lolo stood on the side of conscience and conviction. Mr. Speaker, I want them to be proud that I chose to do what I believe was right. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize Representative June Asidre from Party List Tingog. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Jude Asidre, Party List Tingog, is hereby recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes to the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. I say this with a heavy heart and with full awareness of the weight of this decision. This is not a vote that I cast lightly. In truth, this is a decision I struggled with deeply. I campaigned for Vice President Sara Duterte in 2022. I supported her candidacy. I believed in her capacity to lead and to serve. That is why when the allegations first surfaced and the hearings began, I did not rush to judgment. I listened, I waited, I searched for answers. I wanted to believe there was an explanation that could satisfy the demands of truth, accountability, and public trust. But as the hearings progressed, the evidence became clearer. Testimony after testimony, document after document, fact after fact, a pattern emerged that could no longer be dismissed, explained away, or set aside. The evidence before us was not vague. It was not light. It was not something I could pretend away simply because the decision was difficult. It was substantial, serious, and overwhelming. And when the evidence becomes overwhelming, conscience leaves us with only one honest choice. After several committee hearings, after hours of testimony, after reviewing the records, documents, and deliberations, I came to a difficult but necessary conclusion. There are compelling grounds to support the impeachment complaint. Public service, Mr. Speaker, sometimes asks us to make difficult decisions. At times, it asks us to stand apart from those we once stood with. It asks us to place duty above comfort, conscience above convenience, and country above loyalty. I voted to approve the impeachment complaint because my conscience would not allow me to do otherwise. I signed it because accountability.
Thank you, Madam Sponsor. Do you also confirm that the AMLC reports were not attached to the original complaints?
We confirm that, Mr. Speaker, but similarly, the AMLAC report is germane, the AMLAC report is relevant, the AMLAC report is significant in as far as allegations of unexplained wealth and non-disclosure in the SALN is concerned. As a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, during the proceeding before the Justice Committee, the contradictory, the disparity between the SALN vis-a-vis the AMLAC report was very well established.
Thank you, Madam Sponsor. Mr. Speaker, Madam Sponsor, may I ask if the respondent Vice President was furnished with a copy of this particular report that discussed the 2 billion glitch reported by BPI?
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, we understand that all the documents submitted to committee were furnished not only to the parties, the complainant and the Vice President, but also the justice members and the members of the House of Representatives. Having said so, it is submitted that it is our humble submission that the same is included among the documents transmitted to the respondent Vice President.
So nabigyan po natin sila, Madam Sponsor.
Because the instruction, Mr. Speaker, is to transmit all documents which form part of the proceeding of the Justice Committee, then it follows that all documents presented, if they are presented before the Justice Committee, were transmitted as well to the respondent.
Mr. Speaker, I respectfully manifest that these questions are not meant to prejudge the impeachment case or obstruct the constitutional power of this House. Ang layunin lang po ay malinaw na mailagay sa record ang isang mahalagang due process concern. Dapat ang impeachment complaints ay sapat sa kanilang sariling allegations at supporting documents at the time of filing. Kung ang material evidence tulad ng AMLC reports, corrected bank data, witness affidavits, COA records, at authenticated videos ay nakuha lamang during the committee proceedings, kailangan malinaw kung ang complaints ba ay sapat na noong inihain o nabuo lamang ang kaso pagkatapos. For this reason, before the House votes, may we respectfully request that the record clearly show which evidence was attached at filing and which evidence was obtained later. Ito ay mahalaga hindi lamang para sa respondent, kundi para sa integridad ng House at ng impeachment process. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Madam Sponsor.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, please recognize the statesman from Davao City, the Honorable Representative Isidro T. Ungab.
Honorable Isidro Ungab, 3rd District, Davao City, is hereby recognized.
Mr. Speaker, before I will ask my question, I would like to ask how many minutes am I allowed to ask for this interpellation?
You're given 3 minutes.
3 minutes only. I understand that's only supposed for the explanation of vote, but considering that it's only the time limited or given, so I will just go direct. I have a lot of questions supposedly. Will the sponsor, Madam Sponsor, may I continue?
I will be pleased to respond to the honorable gentleman.
Will the sponsor confirm that no leave was sought and no order was issued allowing either complainant to amend or supplement the consolidated complaint after March 16, 2026?
May we be clarified, Mr. Speaker? Which complaint does the gentleman refer to?
The two complaints, Your Honor. I am supposed to ask questions. There is no House rule and no Supreme Court precedent that allows silent amendment by post-answer evidence. If no leave was sought and no order was issued, then every post-answer factual addition is by definition outside the operative pleading.
Mr. Speaker, if the gentleman is referring to the two impeachment complaints, the third impeachment complaint, that is Abalia et al., and the fourth impeachment complaint, that is Cabrera, the Justice Committee did not amend any of those complaints. What the Justice Committee did is to conduct a clarificatory hearing for the purpose of the determination of the existence of probable cause. And it is for the same reason that the Justice Committee exercised its compulsory power, such as the issuance of subpoena ad testificandum and subpoena duces tecum. There is no amendment that happened, Mr. Speaker. Other relevant documents were considered, but the same is for the purpose of responding to the mandate of the determination of whether probable cause exists or otherwise.
If the new evidence merely supports existing allegations, will the sponsor identify the existing allegations in a Zabalia or Cabrera complaint that placed the respondent on notice of A, 1, 313 personal CTRs, Second, 1.83 billion in personal inflows. 3, the Madriaga supplemental claim of Malacanang armed assault. 4, the names of Kalilong, Lotok, and Anglubin. Are these present in the original verified complaint?
Mr. Speaker, both the Sabalian complaint and the Cabrera complaint mentioned about unexplained wealth and non-disclosure in the SALN. And again, inviting the attention of the members of the House to the test of relevance, test of significance, even if the attachments or the evidence is not attached to the impeachment complaint at the onset, so long as it is relevant, so long as it is germane, so long as it is connected. The rules of impeachment expressly allow the Justice Committee to include the same in the consideration of evidence for the purpose of the determination of probable cause.
I actually disagree, but let me continue, Your Honor. Will the sponsor confirm that the Madriaga supplemental affidavit, dated April 11, Annex W of the articles, was executed 26 days after the filing of the respondent's answer?
Nonetheless, Mr. Speaker, following the test of relevance, Mr. Madriaga is alleging the delivery of the confidential fund to the identified locations in his supplemental affidavit. This statement, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, is of course relevant to the allegation of misuse of confidential fund, and therefore, this should be considered in the determination of probable cause as the same is expressly allowed under paragraph 2, section 7 of the rules of impeachment.
Mr. Speaker, the supplemental affidavit is annexed to the very articles to be transmitted. It is footnoted at footnote 84 of the Article 4 as the evidentiary anchor for assassination, civil obedience, and armed assault at Malacanang, Palace to ensure respondents' assumption of power before 2028. The language does not appear in either the Sabalia or Cabrera complaint. The dates are uncontroverted on the face of the articles themselves. Your Honor, March 16, yung ating respondent ay nag-reply na.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the question being raised by the honorable gentleman is the same question that has been raised for 3 times already. Notwithstanding that the supplemental affidavit was not yet existing prior to the filing of the impeachment complaint, Section 7, Paragraph 2 allow the consideration of the same, considering that the supplemental affidavit is relevant to the allegations of offenses. If I may add, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, let us be reminded that the threshold that was given to the Justice Committee for the purpose of the determination of probable cause is very minimal, and that is probable cause. When we say probable cause, the Supreme Court pronounced and described the same in the past impeachment processes as merely reasonable justification for us to be able to proceed to trial. With that, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, we submit that all the evidences not present during the filing, but present during the proceeding are relevant evidence and therefore must be considered as well by the Justice Committee.
My time is expired, but one last comment,
Okay.
Mr. Speaker. The consolidated articles of impeachment, which is supposedly a product of the 2 verified complaints, has been expanded and has included new evidence, and it is only fair and fitting that the respondent should be asked to reply first before that is being brought here in this plenary. That is my point, Mr. Speaker. Where is due process here? If the respondent was not allowed to answer the consolidated articles of impeachment.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, as to the question which is being repeatedly raised by the honorable gentleman, let me manifest our position for the last time. Regardless of the fact that the evidence are not yet attached, not yet present, not yet available during the filing of the impeachment complaint, so long as the same is relevant Paragraph 2, Section 7 of Rules of Impeachment expressly allow the Justice Committee to include the same in the consideration for the purpose of the determination of probable cause. With regards to his second manifestation, Mr. Speaker, that the respondent Vice President was not given due process, the records will show from day one of the justice proceeding, we've been sending notices to the respondent Vice President. As a matter of fact, even after each resource person, for 3 consecutive clarificatory hearings, we were calling the Vice President just to make sure that we're able to cater ample due process because we are consistent to the rules of impeachment, the Constitution, and even the decisions of the Supreme Court.
Representative Ungab, please
be
wrap up.
allowed just one last comment to answer. The argument stated by the lady sponsor conflates 2 doctrinally distinct constitutional requirements. First, 1, what is required? Procedural attendance, the right to be present, to file pleadings, and to participate in proceedings. And second, substantive fair notice, the right to know in advance and with specificity the factual case one is required to meet. The Constitution in Antibay Gutierrez versus House Committee on Justice, and most recently decided Vice President Sara Duterte versus House of Representatives, which was denied with finality, required, and the record will show that the committee provided the first but withheld the second. Whenever post-filing evidence introduced factual predicates absent from the 4 corners of the verified complaint. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I wish to invite the attention of the Honorable Ungab, my distinguished colleague, that the Vice President, during the determination of sufficiency in substance, upon the determination of sufficiency in substance, was indeed sent a notice for her to file her answer. Indeed, the Justice Committee received the answer. However, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the answer raises constitutional questions, questions similar to those pending before the Honorable Supreme Court. It never responded directly to the allegations of the complaint. To complete my response, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, as I have said, in the entire proceeding of the Justice Committee, the respondent Vice President was duly notified. And after presentation of every resource person, she was being called by the committee secretary to make sure that due process will be provided to the respondent Vice President. With that, Mr. Speaker, it is our humble submission that we complied fully, amply, to the requirement of due process, be it substantive or procedural.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Please recognize the gentleman from the 1st District of Batangas, the Honorable Leandro Legarda Leviste, for his
Honorable
interpellation.
Leandro Antonio Legarda Leviste, 1st District of Batangas, is hereby recognized.
Magandang
You have
hapon
3
po
minutes.
sa aking kababayan, Madam Chair. Madam, is selective justice justice or injustice?
We are not abiding with selective injustice, inasmuch as we do not abide in selective accountability. And I have mentioned that in my sponsorship speech.
So selective justice is injustice, therefore if we hold some to account, we should hold all to account.
That is correct.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Would you support the House resuming the flood control investigations?
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, in our response to the mandate of transparency and accountability, we have to distinguish between an impeachable official and non-impeachable official.
I'm asking for your personal position on
For
this.
impeachable official, Mr. Speaker, we follow the rules of impeachment, both of the House of Representatives and of the Senate. For non-impeachable official, it will depend on the nature of investigation or case which the gentleman from the 1st District of Batangas wishes to initiate.
Let me reiterate the
Nevertheless,
question, Madam.
Mr. Speaker, there is proper forum, there is proper rules that apply to every remedy that is given to the Filipino people.
So may I ask again, Madam, would you support the House resuming the flood control investigations?
Mr. Speaker, may I be recognized?
Majority Leader.
While I understand the concern of the Honorable Leviste to pursue accountability in all matters involving Congress and the government itself, may I request the gentleman from Batangas not to stray from our deliberations involving the resolution.
So the House does not want to make a statement today on whether it wishes to resume the flood control investigations.
Mr. Speaker, we will not make any statement outside our deliberations on the impeachment complaints.
Thank
May
you,
I
Mr.
remind
Chair.
Representative Leviste to
Thank you.
confine
I will move
your
to my next
interpellation and question to the resolution under consideration.
I will move to my next topic. Thank you. Do you support transparency in the use of public funds?
Definitely, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I heard that on March 18, some members of Congress got Easter break bonuses or additional MOOE of 2 million pesos or more, and those who do not support the impeachment did not get this extra MOOE. Do you know anything about this, Madam Chair, and how much MOOE have you gotten this year?
Mr. Speaker, I deny the allegation of the honorable gentleman from Batangas, but it is my observation as well that the statement is no longer relevant to the subject matter of this impeachment.
Madam
proceeding.
Chair, I just want to make this clear before the members of Congress cast their votes. Because there is, first of all, confirmed information that some members of Congress got 2 million pesos on March 18. But on the impeachment...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Chair, just on the impeachment.
Majority Leader.
On the
Mr.
impeachment.
Speaker, the Honorable Legarda Leviste
Just on the
is
impeachment, Mr.
free
Chair.
to speak his mind after the voting, so long as
Mr.
we
Chair,
stay.
just on the impeachment. Senator Amy Marcos said those who vote for the impeachment will get 20 million pesos. And I just want to make it clear if this is true or not, because if it is true, then it should be made public. And if some are getting the 20 million and others are not getting the 20 million, then it should at least be fair that everyone who votes gets 20 million, and those who do not vote hopefully should also be given that, because this is taxpayers' money and should not be allocated on the basis of your vote on the impeachment.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of all the members of the House of Representatives, I categorically deny any statement made by
This
the
is what
Senator.
Senator Amy Marcos said.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. May I request the Honorable Leviste to proceed with his interpellation
Okay.
regarding the resolution and the articles of
I
impeachment.
have one last topic on this, which is, for the sake of the other members of Congress, is it true or not true that those who vote against the impeachment will lose benefits for their vote? So that before we cast our votes, we will know whether doing so will result in us losing our benefits or not.
Mr. Speaker, may I be recognized once more?
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the House, we categorically deny any such allegations, and we would like to thank the Honorable Legarda for his pursuit of accountability
Thank
and
you, Mr. Chair.
transparency.
I would like to
Honorable-
thank you for putting it on the
Honorable
record.
Legarda.
That Mr.
Your
Chair
time
actually
is
made
up.
a very
I'll give
good
you
thing.
one last question.
No one should lose their benefits for their vote today. And lastly, I would like to ask if the House Committee on Accounts and the DBM can release all data on the budgetary releases for MOOE or for infrastructure or any other budgets so that we can ascertain whether it is true or not what Senator Amy Marcos said. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there being no other member to interpellate the sponsor or make any manifestation, I move to adopt House Resolution number 989 together with the findings, conclusions, and recommendations contained in Committee Report number 261, and for this purpose, direct the Secretary General to call the roll of members for nominal voting.
The Secretary General is hereby directed to call the roll of members for nominal voting. The Chair reminds all members that the House is now in process of voting, and pursuant to the rules, the voting process shall not be interrupted at any other business or question. Members who wish to explain their vote shall be recognized after the announcement of the results and shall be allotted 3 minutes each for such purpose. Secretary General, conduct the nominal voting.
Roll of members, Abalos, Abante, Asidre, Acop, Acosta, Adyong, Advincula, Agrao, Agyao, Alano, Alba, Albano, Almario Chino Manuel, Almario Dennis, Almonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Amante, Amatong, Angara, Angeles, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison Munir, Arbison Munir Jr., Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Ataide, Aumentado, Ayon, Bagao.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes, and I will explain my vote after everyone has voted. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Balindong, Banyas Nograles, Bangkoro, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga,
Mr. Speaker, I vote no, and I will be explaining my vote later.
Baskug,
I am voting no, and I will explain my vote later also.
Bautista Claude, Bautista Joan Monique, Bautista Lim, Beltran, Benitez Alfredo, Benitez Javier Miguel, Bernos Ching, Bernos JB, Biron, Bocobo, Bulilia, Bondok, Briones, Bulut Begtang, Cagas, Calderon, Calixto, Kawagdan, Cari, Castro, Caiton, Celeste, Sendanya,
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes, and I will explain my vote later.
Ceniza, Chan Jan Franz Norbert Joselito Almario, Chan Junard, Chua, Chuatay, Chungalaw, Ko Pilar, Coanco Jaime Eduardo Mark, Coanco Mark, Colliantes.
Mr. Speaker.
Speaker, I vote yes. I vote yes.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes, and I reserve the right to explain my vote later. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, tinawag na kasi pangalan ko kanina sa labas ako. I abstain.
Colliantes, Corvera.
Mr. Speaker, my vote is no, but I would like to explain my vote later. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Cruz Agatha, Cruz Ricardo, Cruzado, Kua, Dagook, Dalog, Dayang Hirang, Daza, De Jesus, De Lima.
Mr. Speaker, this representation from the Mamamayang Liberal ML Party List votes yes, and will explain later. Thank you.
De Venecia, Defensor, De Gamo, Del Mar, De Los Santos.
Mr. Speaker, this representation votes no, and I'd like to explain my vote later.
De Los Santos, Di Macuja, Di Maguila, Di Maporo Imelda, Di Maporo City Amina, Diokno.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes. I will explain my vote later.
Dionisio, Domingo, Domogan, Duterte Harold James, Duterte.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes, and I'm submitting my explanation in writing, Mr. Speaker.
Duterte Omar Vincent, Duterte Paulo, D. Faustino, 'D. Faustino, 'D. Faustino Michael Carlos, 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 ' D. Ian Paul, Elago,
Mr. Speaker, this representation from Gabriela Women's Party votes yes, and I will explain my vote later. Thank you.
Emano, Enverga, Erice,
Mr. Speaker, I abstained from the voting and please register my previous privileged speech last Tuesday as my explanation of vote. Thank you.
Escudero, Espares, Espina, Estrella, Ferrer Antonio, Ferrer Jeffrey, Flores, Fortes, Frasco, Presnedi, Fuentebella, Galang, Galeyos, Garbin, Garcia Albert, Garcia Dante, Garcia Jose Arturo, Garcia Karen Hope.
Mr. Speaker, my vote is no, and I reserve the right to submit a written explanation of my vote. Thank you.
Garcia Maria Angela, Guardiola, Garin, Gatchalian, Gato, Glepa, Go, Gomez, Gonzales Alexandria, Gonzales Alisa Micaela, Gonzales Christopher Sheen, Gonzales Roy, Goriseta, Guico, Gintu,
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Gulyas, Gutierrez, Hernandez Charissa Ann, Hernandez Dennis, Hernandez Ferdinand, Hernandez Ramil, Hofer Hasim, Horibata, Ismula.
Mr. Speaker, my vote is yes and wish to explain my vote later.
Iway, Javier, Ko Antonio, Ko Elisa, Ko Wilton, Kong Hun, Ko, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lagbas, Lagdameo Jose Manuel, Lagdameo Monique Yasmin Maria, Lagman.
Mr. Speaker, my vote is yes, and I wish to explain my vote later.
Lagon Daphne, Lagon Sonny, Lara, Lasatin, Ledesma, Legacion, Legarda, Legaspi, Leviste, Libanan, Lopez, Loria, Loyola, Luistro, Lumayag, Makapagal Arroyo, Makasaet, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manguda Datu, Manikis, Maranyon, Marcoleta, Marcos.
Mr. Speaker, Sagip Party List votes no, and I reserve the right to explain my vote later after nominal voting. Thank you.
Marquez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla.
Mr. Speaker, my vote is no.
Miraflores, Momo, Montes, Nava, Nazal, Nisay, Nolasco,
Mr. Speaker, this representation from Bagong Henerasyon Party List votes no, and I would like the chance to explain my vote later.
Nolasco, Oaminal Henry, Oeminal Sancho Fernando, Oducado, Olivares, Ongchuan, Ordanes, Oreta, Ortega, Uwano Dizon, Padiernos, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Perez, Pimentel, Plaza, Plato, Poe, Primicias Agabas, Pumaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Recto, Rehencia, Remulla, Revilla Brian, Revilla Ramon Jolo, Ridon, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez Yuloyo, Rodriguez Maximo, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman,
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes and I wish to explain my vote later.
Romualdez Andrew Julian, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Yeda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sagar Baria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sally, Salvacion, Salvador, Salvame, San Fernando.
Mr. Speaker, this representation votes yes, but with strong reservations, and I would like to explain my vote after the nominal voting.
Santos Maria Alana Samantha, Santos Mark Anthony,
Mr. Speaker, this representation from the Lone District of Las Piñas votes yes. Thank you.
Shimura, Singson
Mr.
Richel,
Speaker, my vote is no.
Singson Richel, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Soriano, Suwan, Swansing Bella Vanessa, Swansing Micaela Angela, Suarez, Suntay,
Mr. Speaker, I vote no and I will explain my vote.
Talyado, Tan Ayman, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Mika, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Chay, Tanwatko, Tariela, Teodoro, Tereng, Tevez, Tiangco, Tieng,
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes and I will explain my vote later.
Tieng, Tino,
Mr. Speaker, yes ang boto ko and I will explain later.
Tolentino, Tuan, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutor.
Mr. Speaker, ang bagang tingog sa katauhan sa Tercero Distrito is no, and I'll explain my vote. Thank you.
T. Umali, Ungab,
I am voting no, and I'll explain my vote later.
Uy De Carlo, Uy Roberto, Valeriano, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Veloso, Veloso Tuazon.
Mr. Speaker, Malasakit at Bayanihan Party List votes no. I reserve the right to submit a written explanation later.
Vergara, Villafuerte Miguel Luis, Villafuerte Vincenzo Renato Luigi, Villanueva, Villarica, Violago,
Mr. Speaker, the third district of Nueva Ecija votes no, and I reserve my explanation later.
Violago, Yamsuan, Yap Arthur, Yap Christopherson, Yap Eric, Yap Jan Gisnel, Yatko, Inares, Yu Jazel Victoria, Yu Joseph Kim, Yulo, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria, Zubiri.
Mr. Speaker, I respectfully abstain and I will explain my vote later.
Second call, adoption of committee report number 261. Alano, Alba, Almario Chino Miguel, Ayon, Baskug, Bautista Claude, Bautista Lim, Chan Jan Franz Norbert Joselito, Cua, De Los Santos, Garbin, Garcia Jose Arturo, Hernandez Dennis, Lacson, Macapagal Arroyo, Nisay, Oreta, Perez, Plaza, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Tan Samir, Tanwatko, Uy De Carlo, Villanueva, Yap Arthur C., Yap Christopherson, Inares.
Next week pa kayo? Next week? Kayo ba ngayon, Mark? Yeah. Only when needed.
Muli po ang aking pagpapaalala sa lahat ng pagpapanatili ng kaayusan at paggalang sa proseso na ating kapulungan sa pagpapatuloy ng sesyon ng plenaryo. Sa pag-anunsyo ng resulta ng desisyon ng miyembro ng House of Representatives, mahigpit pong ipinagbabawal ang anumang pagpapakita ng pagsasang-ayon o pagtutol tulad ng pagpalakpak, pagsigaw, pagpapakita ng mga placard o anumang kahalintulad na kilos sa loob ng bulwagan at sa galeriya. Hinihiling po natin ang pakikiisa ng lahat upang mapanatili ang dignidad at wastong decorum sa kapulungan at sa lahat ng oras. With 255 members voting in the affirmative, 26 against, 9 abstention, House Resolution number 989, together with the findings, conclusion, recommendations contained in Committee Report number 261 are hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Representative Bienvenido M. Abante Jr. of the 6th District of Manila to explain his vote.
Representative Abante, 6th District, Manila, is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Majority Leader. And thank you, my dear Speaker. Psalms 11:3 says, If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Today, the whole of Congress has spoken. This was the statement of one of the most powerful kings Israel ever had, King David. But first of all, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I would like first to commend the chairman of the Committee on Justice for shepherding with boldness and fairness these impeachment hearings. As we move closer to the impeachment trial, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, this is no longer just about politics. This is about conscience, duty, and the future of our nation. Uulitin ko po, this is not about 2028. This is not about political alliances. This is about whether we still believe that no one is above the law. And I believe this with all my heart, and so do many of my colleagues in this chamber. Our vote today is not a declaration of guilt. It is a declaration that when serious allegations are raised against one of the highest officials of the land, Congress cannot look away. Congress cannot remain silent. Congress must act according to the Constitution and according to conscience.
Pero kinalaunan, mga bank transfers na. Kaya yun po ang personal conclusion ko based dun sa mga movements na nakita namin sa bangko. Pero ito po, maliwanag kasi manager's check po ito na nakapangalan po sa kanila, mga miyembro ng pamilya.
Ito po naman, Madam Chair, Senator, no? Hindi lamang droga, kundi nabanggit po ninyo sa number 25, si Sammy Uy ay isang kilalang political contributor ni Rodrigo Duterte at kilalang kasama o kasosyo ni Michael Yang, ang dating economic advisor ni Duterte na siya namang iniugnay sa mga kontrobersya ng family at Pogo. Gayon din sa bilyong-bilyong halaga ng mga illegal na droga na nakumpiska sa isang bodega sa Pogo compound.
Kung matibay at malakas ang committee report na ito, bakit kailangan mangako di umano ng pabuya tulad ng pera, dagdag allowances?
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize Representative Elijah R. San Fernando of Party List Kamanggagawa to explain his vote.
Honorable Elijah San Fernando Kamanggagawa, Party List is hereby recognized.
Mr. Speaker, mga kasama, simplihan lang po natin. Meron bang sapat na batayan ang mga alegasyong ipinupukol sa Vice Presidente? Meron. Is the process to determine probable cause polluted, politically motivated, or questionable? Yes. Pero sa gitna ng mga agam-agam sa kredibilidad ng naging proseso, nananatili pa rin bang accountable ang Vice Presidente bilang mataas na opisyal ng ating bayan? Yes. Then let us hold the Vice President accountable. Kailangang masagot ng Vice Presidente ang lahat ng mga aligasyong ipinupukol sa kanya. Ang trial ang magbibigay ng oportunidad upang siya'y makapagpaliwanag at hayaang malitis upang malaman ng lahat kung siya ba ay may pananagutan o dapat na mapawalang sala. Ito lang po ang tanging paraan, Mr. Speaker. Sa parehas na dahilan, hindi ligtas ang institusyon at gobyernong ito. Let us also hold those who cast the stone accountable. Hindi bulag at mangmang ang mga manggagawa. Hindi nawawala sa isip ng marami ang trilyong pisong kinurakot sa ghost flood control projects. Ang mga mali-maletang pera na nawala sa korupsyon, accountability, ay sumasaklaw rin sa institusyong ito, maging kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Hindi pwedeng magmalinis ang administrasyon. Malinaw sa isip ng marami, ang magnanakaw ay galit sa kapwa magnanakaw. Kaya't alam din ng marami ang mga pagmamaniobra para lang magtagumpay ang impeachment vote ngayong araw. Mr. Speaker, mga kasama, sawa na po ang mga manggagawa at ordinaryong Pilipino sa ganitong bangayan ng mga politiko na ginagamit ang buong makinarya ng gobyerno upang ipatumba ang kanilang mga kalaban sa politika. Lumang tugtugin na po ito, Mr. Speaker, mula sa impeachment complaints kay PBBM at ngayon kay Vice President Sara, ang pag-alis kay Supreme Court Justices Corona at Sereno, at ang pagpapakulong sa mga taong tinitignan ng kasalukuyan at mga nagdaang rehimen bilang kalaban. Sa mga manggagawa at ordinaryong Pilipinong nanonood, malinaw ang record ng gobyernong ito. Sa gitna ng krisis sa ekonomiya na pinagdadaanan natin na lubhang nakakaapekto sa buhay ng mga manggagawa at ordinaryong Pilipino, walang kahit isang makabuluhang batas o panukala ang naisabatas tungkol sa mga manggagawa. Ang impeachment complaint laban kay PBBM isinalang dito sa plenaryo. Ang impeachment complaint laban kay BP Sara isinalang dito sa plenaryo. Samantala, ang House Bill number 8081, National Minimum Wage Bill, na magbubuwag ng provincial rate na may suporta na ng 200 mambabatas ay nakatenga pa rin. Ang taas sahod ay nakatenga pa rin. Kaya sa ngalan ng mga manggagawa at ordinaryong Pilipinong kinakatawan ng kamanggagawa, kami po ay tumitindig para sa pananagutan. At ang pananagutang ito ay marapat lamang na sumaklaw sa Vice Presidente, sa Pangulo, at sa lahat ng opisyal ng gobyerno. Kakabit ang paninindigang ito, Mr. Speaker, mga kasama. Matapang naming hinahamon ang bulwagang ito. Isa publiko natin ang ating mga salin, pumirma tayong lahat ng bank secrecy waiver at hayaan nating ilagay ang ating mga sarili sa pagsisiyasat ng publiko. Ito po ang hamon ng mga manggagawa at ordinaryong Pilipino sa bulwagang ito. Pangungunahan ng kinatawang ito ang hamon na nabanggit sa bulwagang ito. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker. Mabuhay ang mga manggagawa at ordinaryong Pilipino.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize Representative Jesus Bong Suntay of the 4th District, Quezon City, to explain his vote.
Honorable Jesus Bong Suntay, 4th District, Quezon City, is hereby recognized. You have 3 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, we debate this impeachment at a time when Filipino people are facing a crisis far larger than the political conflict inside this chamber. The world is being shaken by war, energy disruption, and commodity shocks. Energy prices are projected to surge 24% this year because of the Middle East war, with commodity prices forecast to rise by 16% and inflationary pressures expected to hit us the hardest. For the Filipino family, these numbers mean higher fuel prices, higher transport costs, higher food prices, and even shrinking household budget. Inflation has already surged to 7.2% in April 2026. And yet, in the middle of this economic storm, Congress is being asked to devote its gravest constitutional power to an impeachment case built on complaints that remain constitutionally infirm, procedurally defective, and factually incomplete. Let us be clear, not impeaching the Vice President does not mean she can no longer be held accountable. Hindi po totoo na kapag hindi tinuloy ang impeachment, wala nang kaso. If there is file graft case, If there is malversation, file a malversation case. If there is unexplained wealth, file the proper case before the proper court. The Vice President is not absolutely immune from suit under the Constitution. And once he is no longer Vice President, she becomes fully subject to ordinary criminal and civil processes without the political complications of an impeachment. Accountability is never lost. Accountability is not achieved through impeachment alone. Accountability must serve justice and not political convenience. It must be fair, constitutional, and consistent. If impeachment is to be used to remove a sitting Vice President, then the House must apply the highest standard, not the lowest. We must demand ultimate facts, competent evidence, personal participation, and clear acts constituting the impeachable offenses. That is why the harder question must be asked. With barely 2 years left in her term, what good will the impeachment do for our country? Will it lower prices? Will it solve the energy crisis? Will it return stolen public funds? Will it fix flood control corruption? Or will it only deepen division in our already divided nation and turn the national agenda into another prolonged political war? For this reason, impeachment is lost when the motives behind it become suspect. Justice is not achieved when accountability becomes only a consolation prize for a political conflict. Let us not pretend that what we are witnessing is purely a principled constitutional process. The public sees the bitter conflict between former allies. They see a struggle for political supremacy. They see the risk that the instrumentalities of government is being used to destroy political opponents. Committee Report number 261 itself shows the weakness of this process. The Committee on Justice did not merely evaluate the complaints, it built the case after the complaints were filed. Hindi impeachment screening ang ginawa ng komite. Case building ang ginawa. An impeachment complaint must stand on its own from the beginning. It must contain ultimate facts. It must allege acts constituting impeachable offenses. It must show personal participation and legal nexus. Hindi pwedeng kulang ang reklamo tapos ang komite ang maghahanap ng ebidensya sa pamamagitan ng subpoena, AMLA record, BIR record, SEC record, NBI files, at testimony ng witness na inilabas pa sa bilangguan para lang punuan ang kakulangan. The committee received testimony and documents that limited meaningful testing. Kung gagamitin ang ebidensya para iakyat ang impeachment, dapat pinapayagan din subukan ang credibility, authenticity, personal knowledge, and relevance. The evidentiary record is not merely weak, it is compromised. The committee took the word of Ramil Madriaga, a convicted criminal, as though it was gospel truth. In any fair proceeding, the testimony would have been received with extreme caution, subjected to searching scrutiny and corroborated by independent evidence. Instead, it was used as a pillar for probable cause. The committee received most from a government official appointed only a week before appearing in front of the committee on matters involving documents protected by law that should have triggered restraint, not haste. It should have demanded safeguard, not political momentum. Most troubling, the executive director of the Anti-Money Laundering Council presented AMLAC-related figures but did not disclose a material qualification in the report. That BPI had requested correction of certain reported transactions because of bank system issues. The omission matters because it affected the public understanding and supposed billions attributed to Attorney Maneses Carpio and by extension the unexplained wealth narrative, ang layo-layo ng 2.33 billion sa 2.11 million sa transaction record. Pero hindi ito binanggit sa komite kahit nasa AMLA report mismo. If this is the evidentiary foundation of impeachment, then the foundation is cracked. The committee framed 19 years of transactions as if they were proof of wealth. That is misleading. Ang AMLA report ay daloy ng perang nagpapakita ng aggregate inflow at outflow ng lahat ng financial transaction na pumapasok at lumalabas sa bank account ng depositor, lalo na kapag nagkakahalaga ng higit sa 500,000 piso. Ang salin ay larawan ng ari-arian, both personal and real, on a specific date. Hindi pwedeng ibangga ang dalawa para gumawa ng artificial discrepancy dahil hindi talaga magtutugma. On bribery, report relied on envelopes, reimbursement, and alleged monetary gifts to DepEd officials. But bribery has elements. Nasaan ang kapalit? Nasaan ang procurement act? Nasaan ang official action na binili? On the threat-related charges, the committee relied on public statements, video clips, transcripts, NBI records, and press remarks, but walang nahanap o naipresentang hired gun. Public statements, even offensive or reckless ones, do not automatically constitute sedition. Insurrection, conspiracy, or assassination. The law still requires overt act, intent, and factual nexus to unlawful action. Hindi lahat ng masamang salita ay krimen, lalo na kung wala namang overt act. Hindi lahat ng galit ay sedition at hindi lahat ng political rhetoric ay insurrection. On confidential funds, the committee relied on co-observation, notices of disallowance, and alleged liquidation irregularities. These are serious matters, but they do not automatically become malversation, plunder, graft, or impeachable offenses. A COA finding is not a conviction. An audit observation is not proof of criminal intent. A notice of disallowance is not by itself proof that the Vice President stole public funds. The law requires more unlawful. The law requires more unlawful appropriation, personal participation, intent, and direct attribution to the respondent. Yan ang dapat ipinakita.
Representative Suntay, please wrap up.
Ang problema ng Committee Report number 261 ay hindi lamang pagkakulang ng ebidensya. Ang mas mabigat na problema ay ang paraan ng pagbuo ng ebidensya. The committee began with a constitutionally weak complaint, expanded the record through broad subpoenas, limited meaningful testing, and treated the resulting record as if it cured the original defect. Impeachment must meet higher constitutional standards, Mr. Speaker, because it seeks to overturn an electoral mandate. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. received 31,629,783 votes. Vice President Sara Duterte received 32,208,417 votes. Those votes do not place anyone above accountability, but they demand restraint, seriousness, and fairness before Congress attempts to remove an elected national official. It was for this reason that I voted no to the impeachment complaint filed against President Marcos, and it is for the same reason that I oppose the impeachment complaint against the Vice President. Vox Populi, Vox Dei. The voice of the people is the voice of God. It is not absolute in law, but it is sacred in democracy. Boses ito ng manggagawa, nakulang sa sahod, pasyenteng naghihintay ng tulong, commuter, magsasaka, mangingisda, magulang at kabataang pagod na sa gobyernong laging huli sa krisis. Boses ng mga Pilipinong sawa na sa politika at naghahangad lamang ng kasaganahan at pagbabago. For this reason, I cannot support the transmission of the articles of impeachment to the Senate. The country needs accountability, yes, but accountability that is fair, consistent, and constitutional. The country needs action on corruption, yes, but action that applies to all, not only to one political target. The country needs justice, yes, but justice that does not confuse impeachment with the only path to accountability. For fidelity to due process, for consistency with our own rules, and for respect for the sovereign mandate of the Filipino people, I vote no.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Toby Chanco from the Lone District of Navotas City for the explanation of his vote.
Honorable Tobias Toby Tiangco, Lone District, Navotas is hereby recognized.
Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, ang hirap bumoto ng yes dahil ang sama ng timing nitong impeachment na ito. Nataon kung kailan hirap ang buhay ng ating mga kababayan dulot ng krisis sa gitnang silangan. At mauna pa itong impeachment kaysa pagpasa natin ng batas na makakatulong sa kanila sa panahong ito. Hirap po sila sa presyo ng bilihin. Ang impeachment na ito ay hindi makakatulong na maibsan ang kanilang kahirapan. Ngunit sa ilalim ng ating saligang batas, ay may itinakdang numero ng araw para ito ay maresolba sa House of Representatives. Ang hirap bumoto ng yes dahil walang moral authority ang House dahil sa laki ng corruption issue sa mga dating liderato ng House of Representatives, sa akusasyon ng mali-maletang ninakaw nila at kanilang mga kasabwat. At ngayon ay humihingi ng accountability sa Vice President para sa mas maliit na halaga. Ngunit sa ilalim ng ating saligang batas, ang responsibilidad ng pag-initiate ng impeachment at pagdesisyon ng probable cause ay eksklusibong kapangyarihan ng House of Representatives nang walang anumang kondisyon. May mga sinusunod tayong mga batas at ang accountability ay dapat para sa lahat ng public officials at walang pinipili. Kahit di hamak na mas malaki ang kontrobersya sa korupsyon na kinasasangkutan ng dating liderato ng House of Representatives at hanggang ngayon ay wala pang nakukulong at mas maliit ang pinag-uusapang halaga sa kay Vice President Sara Duterte ay hindi pwedeng maging dahilan na unahin muna ang mas malaki at huwag munang pag-usapan ang mas maliit na halaga. May mga tatong din sa naging proseso at sa pagkalap ng ebidensya. Gayunpaman, lumitaw ang issue ng SALN, partikular sa hindi pagdedeklara ng cash on hand, na nananatiling kailangang malinawan at ipagpaliwanag sa tamang forum. Dahil nagdesisyon ang kampo ng Vice Presidente Sara Duterte na hindi dumalo dito sa House of Representatives, hindi nagkaroon ng pagkakataon na linawin ito. Ang pagboto ng yes ay hindi paghusga ng pagkakasala. Ito ang tanging naiiwan na paraan para mabigyan ng formal at maayos na venue sa Senado upang maipaliwanag ang panig at mailabas ang buong katotohanan sa mga issue ng SALN na karugtong sa mga issue ng AMLAC at bank accounts. Ito ay pagkakataon para ipaliwanag niya on record at sa loob ng proseso ang kanyang panig at maipagtanggol ang kanyang sarili. Ito ang pinakaresponsableng hakbang sa puntong ito. Kasama ng pagboto ng yes ay may dalawa akong kahilingan. Una, sa liderato ng House of Representatives na madaliin na ang pagpasa ng batas na makakatulong sa ating mga kababayan na naghihirap sa panahong ito. Pangalawa, magalang akong nananawagan sa mga ahensya na may responsibilidad na panagutin ang mga big fish at ang mastermind ng pinakamalaking korupsyon sa kasaysayan ng ating bansa. Ako ay buong pusong naniniwala sa kanilang integridad. At alam kong pinagbubutihan nila ang makapag-file ng malakas na kaso na hindi madidismiss sa korte. Ngunit medyo naiinip na po ang ating mga kababayan. Sana po ay may paraan na mas mapabilis ang pag-usad ng mga kaso para ipakitang walang double standard sa accountability. Ipakitang hindi pinoproteksyonan ang kakampi para hindi po isipin ng taong bayan na namimili lang ng kalaban sa politika. Maraming salamat po.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize the Honorable Antonio Tino of Party List ACT Teachers for the explanation of his vote.
Honorable Antonio Tino, Party List ACT Teacher, is hereby recognized.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Kapani-paniwala bang may nangyaring paglabag at malamang ba na ginawa ito ng Vice Presidente? Yan ang ibig sabihin ng probable cause at yan ang sinikap nating alamin dito sa Kongreso. May sapat na batayan ba para ma-impeach ang Vice President for betrayal of public trust graft and corruption, and other high crimes? Ang sagot, yes. May sapat na batayan para sabihing winaldas niya ng labag sa konstitusyon, batas at alituntunin ang 612.5 million na confidential funds na pinagkatiwala sa Office of the Vice President